In 1980, Scottish art pop singer-songwriter Gerry Rafferty released his fourth solo album, Snakes and Ladders, and from it, the opener, Royal Mile, Sweet Darling. Stately March.
I remember the sound of the passing train as it rolled through the night in the pouring rain, and the touch of a hand and the way she said goodbye.
Yeah, very much a Scottish flavor, that marching feel, slight music hall quality. Picking up on where he had left off on Maddie's Rag somewhat, yeah, there weren't any moments like this on the preceding album, Night Owl. I remember the sound of the passing train as it rolled through the night in the pouring rain, and the touch of a hand and the way she said goodbye. And we walked in the sun down the Royal Mile. Saw the light in her eye and the way she smiled, and she cried in the night, and I heard her say, "Don't go. What can I do, sweet darling? I don't want to go away. Looking at you, sweet darling. I know I want to say, is this about going off to serve in the military? What can I do, sweet darling? In the light of day, I was rolling home. I was thinking of you, waiting on your own. And I wanted to call, but then something said, oh no, it could be, or that it could just be about going to London to deal with business. I know that Rafferty didn't like leaving his home comforts, didn't like touring, didn't like going south.
And we walked in the sun down the Royal Mile, saw the light in her eye and the way she smiled, and she cried in the night, and I heard her say, don't go. What can I do, sweet darling? I don't wanna go away. Looking at you, sweet darling, I know I wanna stay.
Well, the voice is so impassioned and very distinct too, as he stretches out those lines, like on the chorus, like how he wants to stay, how he doesn't want to go away. And arrangement-wise, I really appreciate how he's one of the last UK artists to be doing that Marshall music hall type of format that had extended back to like the late 1960s anyway, around the time of like Sgt. Pepper, bands like The Move, The Kinks, and had continued on into the mid-70s anyway with some artists, but was largely just ran out of the room when New Wave came along. XTC did a little bit of it as late as like, the mid-80s or so, but yeah, Gerry Rafferty was having like a song or two per album, devoted to the style.
What can I do, sweet darling? In the light of the day, I was rolling home. I was thinking of you, waiting on your own. And I wanted to call, but then something said, oh no. Yeah, but now it's a dream, it's a memory. But I'll never forget what you gave to me. I was lost and alone, but you made me feel okay. What can I do, sweet darling? I don't wanna go away. Looking at you, sweet darling, I know I wanna stay. What can I do, sweet darling?
Those kind of like marching band drums and such, the snare. Yeah, but now it's a dream, it's a memory, but I'll never forget what you gave to me. I was lost and alone, but you made me feel okay. What can I do, sweet darling? I don't want to go. This almost sounds like a like a last goodbye, not just a lengthy parting. Looking at you, sweet darling, I know I want to stay. What can I do, sweet darling? I remember the sound of the passing train as it rolled through the night in the pouring rain. I guess that's him on the train. In the very first stanza, I thought it was her that was going on the train, and the touch of a hand and the way she said goodbye. That's why I thought. Okay, so he's the one definitely in motion while she's the one standing. Yeah. What can I do, sweet darling? I don't want to go away. Looking at you, sweet darling. I know I want to stay. What can I do, sweet darling? Yeah. Just one of those sad moments when yeah, I didn't know that the lyrics were about something so bleak, having not read them before. The so I'd always been just so caught up in just the spiky melody of the tune. Yeah. So it creates kind of a mixed impression. We got this somewhat upbeat track, albeit with a few minor keys thrown in, and then when you read the lyrics, it's actually quite sad. It's almost kind of like Casablanca.
I remember the sound of the passing train as it rolled through the night in the pouring rain, and the touch of her hand and the way she said goodbye. What can I do, sweet darling? I don't wanna go away. Looking at you, sweet darling, I know I wanna stay. What can I do, sweet darling?
Okay, and I gotta give props to the snare drums of Liam Genockey, who he's the guy with the big beard, bald-headed big beard guy in the video to Baker Street, yeah, and the video to Night Owl, which I saw not too long ago. And he has had quite a varied background. He played in the free jazz act Amalgam, who put out some really great albums. Yeah, with some of the leading lights of the English free jazz scene. Yeah, and we got a whole list of other players on there, also giving us some of those Scottish sounds. More on that in a bit. And the penny whistle that characterized parts of that melody, played by Richard Harvey, who's also credited with synthesizer on the album. Yeah, Gerry Rafferty, Royal Mile, parentheses, Sweet Darlin', opener off his 1980 release, Snakes and Ladders. Let's hear another track from the album, a more kind of upbeat, at least musically, track anyway, Syncopatin' Sandy. Once again, a really jaunty melody, owing back to kind of the music hall side of the Beatles, or the Move, or the Kinks. And music hall Dixie. I also hear a bit of Dixieland in there, but then again, the two styles were going on at the same time, early 20th century, just on other sides of the Atlantic.
Syncopatin' Sandy was the strangest name, playing marathon piano, that was Sandy's game. He played all day, he played all night, as he was still alright. Fed him whiskey from a paper cup and wondered how long he could keep it up.
Okay, this is apparently about an eccentric character, just like a lot of like late '60s music hall English pop songs were. Yeah, they would often have titles like that, or like alliterated titles, like like an alliteration of an adjective and a name, stuff like that. Okay. Now I was just a kid way back in my hometown. There was a crazy little man who once came around. That's a guy. Syncopated Sandy was the stranger's name, playing marathon piano. That was Sandy's game. He played all day, he played all night. After 48 hours, he was still all right. This kind of sounds like an early 20th century tale. We fed him whiskey from a paper cup, and he wondered how long he could keep it up. How long, how long, how long. Oh, wow. This guy has quite a strange, unique talent. Well, his eyes are rolling, and he can't even speak. The spirit's willing, but the flesh is weak. How long, how long?
Well, his eyes are rolling and he can't even speak. The spirit's willing, but the flesh is weak. How long? How long? People would come and the people would go, and the people all agreed it wasn't much of a show. They all said Sandy must be weak in the head, and if he didn't stop soon, he would drop down dead.
Okay, the bass notes that are guiding kind of the, back and forth, they doom, 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 like the emphasis on twos, that is played, it's credited to two people on this album, Mo Foster and Pete Zorn. And Pete Zorn has quite a colorful background. Steel Eye Span, the Albion Band, Richard Thompson's backing band. He's actually American, but mostly worked with UK artists, or was. He passed away 4 years ago. Most interesting to me personally, perhaps, is his involvement in the band Easy Street, which put out 2 albums in 1976-77. They were a trio. He was kind of their fourth wheel. Yeah. Easy Street, the band that gave us the talents of singer-songwriter Ken Nickel and Peter Marsh, who later worked with Vangelis and ultimately turned up in the electro art pop band Blanket of Secrecy, and drummer Richard Burgess, who subsequently joined Landscape, and who I've covered on this program, and later became a producer and for Spandau Ballet, and was the one who coined the phrase New Romantic. A lot of connections there.
Played all day, we played all night. After 96 hours, he was still alright. Fed him whiskey, paper cup, and he wondered how long he could keep it up. How long, how long? How long, how long?
I'm actually wondering if Zorn may have been responsible for some of the woodwinds that we're hearing, because I don't see enough of them credited on his Discogs page. I see penny whistle and saxophone, and I'm thinking that there could be a little bit more on his hands.
Well, his eyes are rolling and he can't even speak. The spirit's willing, but the flesh is weak. How long? How long?
let's finish off the lyrics here. Okay, people would come and people would go, and the people all agreed it wasn't much of a show. They all said Sandy must be weak in the head, and if he didn't stop soon, he would drop down dead. This tale almost reminds me of that tale from like centuries back of this woman who wouldn't stop dancing. She went on the street, out in the street, into this like violent dancing, and was just kind of like almost to the point of knocking herself out and causing herself injury. And they finally like restrained her, and then other people started doing it as well. Some of the mystery YouTubers have been. I think that story did the rounds recently on Mystery Tube. Yeah. Um, he played all day. He played all night. After 96 hours, he was still all right. Let's see. Covered those lyrics already. Well, his eyes are rolling and he can't even speak. Yeah. Oh, thank you. And wood blocks on this particular track, played by Frank Ricotti. He did a kind of a folk psych album in the early or 70s. And oh yeah, and Zorn is indeed the bass player on this. Oh, clarinet strings arranged by Wil Malone. Ex of Orange Bicycle. Yeah, he played a big hand in that Intergalactic Touring Band album. I've covered that on here. Annie Haslam's Reaching Out. Yeah. Yeah, that was Syncopatin Sandy by Gerry Rafferty from his 1980 release, Snakes and Ladders. Yeah, his third after becoming a solo artist permanently. Yeah, he put out his first solo album in 1971, Can I Have My Money Back? Between his time in the Humble Bums and Steeler's Wheel. Yeah, the Humble Bums with Bill Connolly, and the Steelers Wheel with Joe Egan, yeah, who all of them pretty much became Billy Connolly of the Humble Bums left music and became a comedian, a very successful comedian. And Joe Egan, his partner in Steelers Wheel, also went on. Steelers Wheel actually had a lot of people passing through its lineup, though. Including Paul Pilnick, who has been in numerous bands, including the first Deaf School album and Betty Bright's Illuminations with Glenn Matlock. And anyway, let's before I cut this, I'm going to play one short song. Look at the Moon. One of those really atmospheric numbers, yeah. And the string, let's see, keyboards by Lynn, and strings once again arranged by Wil Malone. Oh, and arranged by and led by Gavin Wright. Yeah.
Darling, do not cry. These clouds will soon pass by. The moon up in the sky. He's crying. He feels just like you. The moonlight casts its spell. You
love the lurching, low, kind of almost sort of inebriated feel of these deep chords and that kind of sunken, submerged piano and some feel, and the way the strings are just kind of like fluttering high above it, almost like seagulls over the sea. Very atmospheric piece. Kind of Rafferty's darker side. Um, Although actually, and exploring some new like electronic sounds and such. Kind of taking him more into the sort of mood rock vein, which is not. Let's see. Oh, darling, do not cry. These clouds will soon pass by. The moon up in the sky is crying. He feels just like you. The moonlight casts its spell. You know that all is well. Even the moon can tell. He's smiling. He feels just like you. Yeah. Interesting little kind of like adult lullaby there to a loved one. Yeah. Anyway, the cover is just full of life and color, like all of Rafferty's album covers, done by artist John Byrne. Yeah, I guess an artist turned playwright. He did the covers for the Humble Bums and all of Rafferty's solo albums, including the two prior ones anyway, and I'm assuming Steelers Wheels because they all have that unique look, really busy, like lots of like usually like a central character with some like a bunch of like wooden objects and animals, and even some like like oftentimes in some cases faces carved out of wood. And so, yeah, you just need to really look at them and take in all the detail. Yeah, I love. I love all of Rafferty Associated album covers up through 1980 anyway. Yeah, they've all got that. Definitely in kind of like a unique club of people whose album art had a distinct character and just busy attention to detail and a unique world created in it that reflected the music quite well. Yeah. Anyway, Gerry Rafferty, a very singular Scottish talent, both in combo form and as a solo artist, conquering a new decade. With three great ones from Snakes and Ladders. Look at the Moon, before that, Syncopatin Sandy, and at the top of the set, Royal Mile. For more Rubies and Sapphires from the catalog of Gerry Rafferty and his associated acts, see the directory of albums by Scottish artists, linked in the description below for Red Hot Tracks and Purples from Gerry Rafferty's first 5 albums anyway, and his the 3 albums he did with Steelers Wheels, and some of the stuff he did with Humble Bums. Like and subscribe, follow me on social media, share the video, and leave a comment if there are any observations you have about the 3 tracks we just heard, the interplay, the layers, the sounds, the instrumentation involved, the arrangement, the composition, the lyrics, the impassioned vocals of Gerry Rafferty. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most ear-traveled trimaximalist, signing off.